Alright, what do you say we see how this goes, huh? We've got a rock chip on a Jaguar. That's the name of the truck, Jaguar. Look at that rock chip. That is massive. Now, I have been working my legs a lot so that I can get up on these trucks and squat down like this and not be cramping up and being in pain. So that's nice. That's a pretty massive rock chip there, guys, compared to my thumb. Oh, you know what? I might have a quarter or something. I did pay cash for something this morning for the first time in 150 years. So here we go. Find a place to put that drill. There we go, see? It just covers it. That's how big that chip is. That's how big that chip is. In fact, it doesn't even cover it all the way. It still sticks out a little bit around the edge. If I get it right on the edge down there, we still got a little bit coming around the edge. Look in the mirror. You see that? That's a good size indicator right there. Just looking in the mirror. So yeah, it's about the size of a quarter, ladies and germs. It is about the size of a quarter. A quarter. It's about the size of a quarter. So we're going to punch a hole in it. Right in the middle, right where the glass is all broke out. And believe me, when that much glass is missing, you don't have to go very deep. You're just basically getting below the crumbles. You just want to get a little bit into the crumbles. That way you know it'll take resin real well. Alright. I'm not sure what video number this is, but we're getting up there. Now remember, always cover the pit before you spray the windshield. And see that drop running down? No, no, no. We don't want to let go of that and let that drop run in there, because think about it. If you can inject a thick liquid into the glass, just imagine how fast a thin liquid like water can just get sucked into that chip. And then when you try to repair it, it looks like shit because your resin mixes with the water, turns a little grayish color, doesn't look good, makes it ugly, and it doesn't cure all the way. So I never do repairs after a rainstorm until the sun's out for a couple of hours, and I never do repairs if somebody has just washed their car. Okay, we are centered over the pit. So remember, this truck, you see, this pretty much sits horizontal. I cannot just drip resin in there. On semi-trucks, the windshields are almost straight up and down. They're not at the same angle as a vehicle, a passenger vehicle. So we take the seal out of the bottom, and this chip's going to require at least 10 drops of resin, so we put the resin I'm going to go with 12 just to be on the safe side. I always go with a couple more than I think it's going to take. I'd rather waste a little bit of resin than not have enough to fill the chip. So then we close this down until we see the resin right at the bottom of that hole. Right at the bottom of the hole. Then we put our seal back in. And then we bring the resin right up till it crests. Get the air out of it. Right up until it just makes a little crest on the top of the tool. Then we screw it back in. Screw it back into the bridge. Like so. You're going to leak a little bit. That's great. That means you didn't push any air into the chip. That's a beautiful thing. Now once it's against the windshield, again, that's not even a 1/16 of a turn. So now I pull a vacuum. And by doing that, I'm sucking the air out of the chip, and you can literally see the chip is actually filling, because when you suck the air out like that, you're creating a void, and that gives a place for the resin to flow into. Nature does not like a vacuum. Vacuums will be filled. A void will be filled. So then, once we know we've got quite a bit of resin in there, we go ahead and break the seal, like so, and then we force more resin into it. And if you can see it in the mirror, that would be great. I hope I'm in the right position for you to see it in the mirror. There we go, we're filling. And boy, she's filling fast. See how much faster that is than trying to do it the way they teach you in a class? Look at that. She is pretty much full already. We're going to leave that under pressure for a minute. Now we'll draw the air out again. We'll pull another vacuum halfway. Halfway, don't break the seal. Let the air come out. There's some air at the very bottom I can see working its way up. Very bottom. Air always looks like little black dots or little black lines in the chip. So you can literally just watch the air come out. It just looks like a black spot moving in the resin. And that air is gone. So we break the seal one more time. And we pressurize. Now I don't see any more air in this chip at all. But we're going to pressurize it one last time here. Get a good pressure seal on it. We're going to check our lines from different angles. So you can see from certain angles it looks like that line and that bottom line aren't filled, but that's because they're shaded separate differently. But when you come up here, it looks like the top lines aren't filled. So when they're ghost lines like that, when you look at them from one angle and they look like they're still open, and you look at them from just a slightly different angle and you can't see them, that means they're filled. That means they're completely filled in. Beautiful. This is going to be a gorgeous repair, guys. A gorgeous repair. Of course, it won't be 100% invisible. They never are. I always say that, right? I always say they're not going to be 100% invisible. Because you can still clearly see it on the camera. Boy, that's a lot of glass missing right there. I'm going to put some extra resin above it so as it flows down, we can get some more resin in that hole. Alright, now I'm wondering if I can do this with another mirror instead of having to use my light. And it looks like I can do it with another mirror. Because of where the sun is at, should make it somewhat easy. I wonder why it's not reflecting a full mirror reflection. It's just doing a line. It's just kind of weird. Oh, maybe because I need to hold it up here higher. There we go. That's the way to do it. Right? Now the question is, can you hold your hand up that long? Long enough for that to actually cure? That's the big question. Let me see if I can rest my hand on the visor up there and still get the light to shine on it. There we go. So if we were in direct sunlight, this would be much easier. I could have just shaded it with an umbrella, but because the sun is not quite overhead yet, I'm using a mirror to reflect light down onto it because the UV will reflect off the mirror and go to the chip anyway. So you're not just reflecting light, you're reflecting UV as well. So that's a good thing. And anytime I can use a mirror instead of using my light, I will do that, because it saves on the battery. Now, I don't know if you'll notice, but you notice how it's starting to get foggy looking? You notice how it's getting kind of foggy looking? That tells me that it's curing. So, when you're in the light like this, somebody asked me if I have an issue with the tape chemically reacting with the resin, and I've been using tape forever, and I've never had an issue. So I just know that when it starts to get foggy looking like that, that means it's curing all the way, which is a beautiful thing, because it's getting foggy under the tape, which means it's, you know, it's curing. So that's what tells me that my sunlight curing technique with the mirror actually works, is I can watch it just get foggy. And then after a couple of minutes, let me put that away. So yes, I have been working my legs a lot because, as you can see, I have to squat down on the engine of this truck. And when you're 59 years old, it's not as easy to squat down as it was when you were 30. So you see how that's all cured? That's why I say when it starts to turn foggy, I can tell that it's curing, and cured up beautifully. So yes, reflecting light from another mirror onto the chip does make it cure. You have to have pretty good UV in order for that to happen, though. Because, like, for example, if your UV index is like 4 out of 12, it's going to take a lot longer to cure a chip in the sun than it is if your UV is 10 out of 12. Or even 8 out of 12. So my rule of thumb is to check the UV index in the morning before I leave for work, especially in the wintertime, because believe it or not, you can't, it's very difficult in a cold climate like this to get a sunburn in the wintertime. In fact, it's pretty much impossible. So I check the UV index, because when the UV is low, if the vehicle is in the sun, it will still cure it, but it takes longer. So you're not going to cure it in 2 minutes in a cold climate. It might take 5 minutes. And you need to plan your day accordingly, because every repair is going to take a few minutes longer when your UV is low, or if you're going to use your light. Every repair is going to take a few minutes longer. Alright, that one's done. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure allowing you to fly with me today. Please put your tables and work trays in an upright position and prepare for landing. Alright guys, yeah, so my legs don't cramp up anymore when I climb up on these engines, because I've been working the tar out of them, and they're getting much, much stronger. Now remember, on these trucks, not all of them have this kind of a lock. Some of them have the shocks that come off, and you have to actually lift the shock a little bit to unlock it. You'll figure it out if you do trucks. But if you use my technique when you're doing a... What the hell? Come on. God, that's so you use my technique, like I showed you, pulling the vacuum first, then you know, filling the tool from the bottom and pulling the vacuum first, you will get much better results from your repairs. And by getting better results and doing a better job, you will get contracts at trucking companies, because you're saving them thousands and thousands of dollars. I do all these trucks, every one of them, every truck on the lot. I take care of them all. These split windshields are about 150 bucks a piece because they're separated, so that's not a big deal. The windshield on that truck is about $1,500, $1,500, $150 each on the split windshields. But on these brand new trucks, $2,500 to $3,000. That yellow truck, that red truck, no, not that red one, that yellow truck, that burgundy truck, this purple truck, this blue truck, very expensive windshields. So when you get really, really good at doing windshield repairs, and you can do them proficiently, and you can show that you do a better job than anyone else in the area, and you're mobile, and they don't have to take the truck somewhere to get it fixed, because you can just come to the lot. Well, guess what, guys? You're going to get more work, and that is just going to be badass. So I am charging my headset. Yeah, the light's still on. Off my little portable battery here. You've seen this a million times. I've used it for operating my light in garages and things like that. My headset died on me, so we have to charge that up. I charged all my tools last night. My drill, my lights, my spare drill, my spare lights, my battery. Charged all that up. My phone. Forgot to charge my headset. Just that simple, guys. Sometimes you forget stuff. Alright, I'm going to get out of here. That was the only one I had for today. I'll come back Monday and collect. They have a new shop manager. He prefers to just pay with a card instead of having me send an invoice, so I prefer that as well. It's not far out of my way if I just swing by, collect, and then go on. So, not a big deal. I will see you in my next video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, click the like button, share the video, throw me some love, and if you learned something, let me know, and if you didn't, that's okay. I'll see you in the next one.